Little Lady's story is deeply moving, a true representation of the suffering and strength that many animals face throughout their lives. Lady, a dog with dark fur and sad eyes, lived a life marked by fear, pain, and abandonment. Her destiny began to change when she was cruelly captured by dog hunters and taken to the square, a place that should have represented shelter, but which for her became a scene of despair. She was pregnant when she was captured, and her body, already weakened by stress and hunger, did not resist. Unfortunately, Lady gave birth right there, in the square, amidst the filth and chaos. Imagine the fear and despair of this mother, who, after being brutally dragged through the streets, had to bring 9 little puppies into the world. Her sadness and anguish were visible in her eyes, which conveyed a pain that is difficult to put into words. Unfortunately, what should have been a moment of life and joy quickly turned into a tragedy. Lady, weakened and helpless, watched helplessly as her puppies, one by one, succumbed to starvation and lack of care. Of the 9 puppies she had given birth to, only one remained, a small brown snowflake, struggling to survive. Lady's grief was unbearable, losing her babies before her eyes, without being able to do anything to save them, was too heavy a burden for her already wounded heart. Thankfully, Lady was rescued, along with her last puppy. A promise was made to her. No one would ever hurt her again. However, fear was still palpable in her eyes, and the trauma of everything that had happened still dominated her demeanor. The dog, scared and suspicious, could hardly believe that her life could get better. But with patience and lots of love, we began to see small changes. What Lady needed more than anything was affection and security, something she had never experienced before. On the 20th day after their rescue, Lady and her baby, Freya, began to show signs of improvement. Lady was no longer as scared as she had been in the beginning, and Freya, still so small and full of life, brought a spark of hope to her mother. Seeing these two together, starting to recover, was heartwarming. On day 70, Lady and Freya were safely in a boarding house, where they received the care and love they so desperately needed. Thanks to Marie's help, the two were protected and little by little began to open up to human affection. However, there was still one thing missing: a forever home, a place where they could both finally feel safe forever. On day 150, Lady had a little scare with a cough, but was quickly taken to the vet and started on antibiotics. Even so, she continued to recover, and her trust in people grew little by little. Finally, after months of waiting and much care, the news that everyone was waiting for arrived. Both Lady and Freya had found a home in Germany. Freya was the first to be adopted, but in an act of pure compassion, Heike Fetzer decided that Lady also deserved this chance to start over. She took Lady to an orphanage in Germany, where the dog began to experience, for the first time, the true love and patience she so desperately needed. And that's when the miracle happened. In just 2 days, Lady began to change in an amazing way. All the fear and trauma she had carried for so long began to dissipate. She learned to walk on a leash and began to run and play like never before. Lady's transformation was so profound that it brought tears to the eyes of everyone who followed her journey. It was proof that with true love, patience, and dedication, even the deepest traumas can be overcome. Lady, who once lived through the despair of losing almost all of her puppies and facing a life of pain and abandonment, finally found peace and happiness. She and Freya are now safe, loved, and living a life that once seemed impossible. Lady's story teaches us that all living beings, regardless of what they've been through, deserve a chance at happiness. She is proof that love can heal even the deepest wounds and that it's never too late to start over.